Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, Jacob Terrell, Earl Nieto, and guest star of the evening, Baby Maggie. Welcome in, guys. Baby Maggie is here. Baby Maggie's going to give us all the latest, including horse score prediction for this week.
Say hi. Say hi. Say hi, little stinker. Say hi, little stinker. No, nothing.
There we go. Nothing.
Just
all
a
right.
smile.
That works just as well. You know, she's the one that's going to pull in all the stars for us this week. So, Earl, I got to ask, you had a busy weekend. How did things go? How did your podcast go? You're supposed to kick things off this weekend. And quickly tell us, why was Backlash so bad?
Where do I begin? I did have a busy weekend. I had Felipe Esparza comedy show in Albuquerque. Laughed my ass off. Saturday came home. Planned on doing a podcast. My co-star, my co-host, could not make it that day, so we wound up not doing it.
Quickly. How is it when your co-star can't show up on the day of your show?
When you're a firefighter, it's not just me. There's another guy doing it. So he's a firefighter and he was on call that weekend, so he was unable to drive out 2 hours or an hour and a half to do a podcast. But he's not on call anymore, so we will be kicking it off this Sunday at 3:30.
Where can people watch or listen live?
You can watch us on Facebook and YouTube. And that's about it. Oh, dear God. That's loud.
On our page?
No, but I will put the link on our page again like I did last week.
Bless you.
I will put the link on our page like I did last week again. But you can find us on Before the Bell podcast.
There you
I had
go.
the link up last week. I could try to find it again real quick and put it in the chat if we have any watchers right now.
We do. There's this little icon up in the corner that tells us how many people are watching.
I don't have that icon.
Okay.
I'm not a host.
I don't think he gets that because when I was on my phone 2 weeks ago, I didn't have it either.
Okay. Well, there's a counter up there.
But yeah, so you can find us on YouTube and Facebook. Ring the Bell podcast. I will put the link in the chat sometime tonight, as well as on our Facebook page after the show. So
all right,
visit our page.
There you go. Check out Earl's new podcast next Sunday, 3:30. You said 3:30. There you go. So tell me, Earl, quickly, why was Backlash so bad?
Because it's Backlash. I mean, any pay-per-view immediately after WrestleMania tends to not be good. I think the highlight of Backlash was the announcement of WrestleMania 41 being in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the only highlight of Backlash itself.
I don't know. To be fair, the RKO Bloodline match was pretty fun up until the end, where Bloodline stuff happened as usual.
Yeah, it was typical Bloodline stuff where someone always either debuts or interferes. I think they're building up to something later on down the road for return of Roman Reigns as a good guy. But yeah, Backlash. I didn't really watch it, so that's how important it was to me.
Alrighty then, Jacob. It's been a busy weekend. I'm sure you've got a lot of stuff going on as well. Other than watching United, what caught your eye this weekend?
Well, you might not know this. Most people might not know this. I'm a lifelong Timberwolves fan, a Minnesota Timberwolves fan. And they have put two great performances on against the Denver Nuggets, the presumptive favorite to win the championship. And so I'm riding high right now. First game was Saturday night, and then we played again last night. And so that plus United has kind of been the one thing that I've been keeping an eye on. Avalanche are playing right now. So just sports, mainly sports and ejecting people from boats. That was my last week.
ejecting people from boats. Sounds more exciting than the Kentucky Derby.
Oh no, the Derby was fantastic. What are you talking about?
I care nothing about the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, the Derby was great. I watched that too. Most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Photo finish. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's the most exciting 2 minutes since I got Marlena pregnant.
That's it, folks. Show's over.
Good night, y'all. We will see you guys next week.
I
saw as soon as
Get
I
back
said
on track
that,
after that shit.
I saw as soon as I said that, his face lit up, and I knew something was coming. No pun intended.
This just became nuts.
Okay. So I mean, obviously Earl fails to eject. So Jacob, tell us how you ejected people from a boat.
I missed last week. I was down at Elephant Butte for a Marine Enforcement Officer training, and we were doing some stuff on the boat, and I hit a wake in a way that you're not supposed to hit a wake, and it shook the boat pretty good and sent a guy 10 to 20 feet in the air and into the water. He was okay. Otherwise, I wouldn't be just hanging out and laughing about it. But yeah, I just wanted you to know, Earl, since you can't tell, we've lost 3 watchers since you're coming.
So it's not quite like like when you're a kid and you're on a boat and your dad's slinging you around the back of it.
No,
you actually launched one off the boat itself.
Yeah, we were doing some drills and hit a wake perfectly sideways, hit parallel to the boat, and first one hit us and kind of bounced everybody, and then the second one hit us, and it was kind of like a trampoline double bounce type situation, and he bounced and then bounced and went flying. So we got to practice some man overboard drills a little early, and but no, it was good. Last Tuesday it was a long day. Last week was pretty long. We were out there in the sun on the water the majority of the time, and so it was a great training, but had to bow out last Tuesday. But y'all did great in my absence, and there weren't any jokes about what we just joked about. So already you did better last week than we've done this week.
Shadow, appreciate you tuning in all the way from Germany. We do appreciate you listening each and every week, and the additional breakdown and commentary you provide over on Twitter. If you're not familiar with Shadow Wolf, go check him out over on Twitter. He actually runs his own podcast that covers the USL from Twitter or from Germany. Go check him out. Go give him a listen, give him a follow. He's always been super supportive of the show since he found us, and he's always there whenever the show goes live, commenting and giving his take as well. So please go check him out. Please give him a follow. We appreciate you being here. But so I think it's safe to say that of everything that happened this weekend, New Mexico United winning by a final score of 2-1 over Las Vegas Lights is probably not the highlight of the weekend for anybody. Unless I'm mistaken.
I mean, yes and no. The Minnesota game last night specifically was probably the highlight of the last few days, but that Vegas game was really exciting. Sad that we let them get back into it, and then we had to hang on for dear life again, which I feel like a 3-0 shellacking is coming in our favor. We just haven't had it yet, but that doesn't matter right now.
Yeah, obviously you watch this match, and after the prior week out at Tampa, you didn't really know what to expect. Yes, we were dealing with injury. Yes, we were dealing with illness the week before, but you see the way that the club responded this week. You saw a very different lineup than what we typically see. You see Bruuuuuuce come out playing as a false 9. You've got a couple new faces. You've got brand new signing in the mix, and the first half at least looked tremendously better than the prior week. And when I saw, the start we got off to, I said, okay, maybe we are getting at 3-0. Maybe this is a team that's going to be able to consistently put up goals, because this is what we've been seeing. We've been seeing the creativity, we've been seeing the movement, and you can see us playing through the middle here. And I don't know, Earl, and let's start with you. Was it the makeup of the lineup? Was it Brucey being there instead of Hurst? What do you think led to the catalyst here for what we saw on Saturday night?
I think it was a mix of a lot of things. I think it was a mix of Abdi coming in and bringing new life to the defense. I think it was a mix of the defense being hungry to prove that they're still championship worthy. I mean, that's just one big part. And then seeing Brucey come in, Brucey's Brucey. Let's just say that. He showed that he's still the project that Quill wants him to be, where he's midfield, but he can still play the 9 role and thrive in it. Obviously, I mean, I was almost 100% certain that he was going to have a hat trick by halftime.
Yeah, it looked
And when
pretty
he
close.
did, I
You
was
looked
kind
at
of
some of
upset.
those goals, and yeah, it was. I think a lot of people were upset that he didn't get that before halftime with the way we were playing. You talked about Abdi coming in. What did you make of him in his first performance?
He was good. I mean, for it being his first major appearance with United, I mean, I'm sure he's played. I'm sure he's trained with the team for a while now. But for him to come in and fill the role, I think of Gloucester, if I'm not mistaken, proved that he's talented for sure. I mean, he took a couple shots and he was pretty damn close to making them. But he's a threat for sure. He bombs up the side, gets himself involved in the play, and knows how to get back on defense and continue playing the ball forward, which you were a big opponent about last week, was playing out of the back. We didn't really see that this week. We saw a little bit out of the back, but a lot of it was in the attacking half. And Abdi obviously was part of that. I mean, I'm trying to look real quick. My internet's pretty glitchy right now. But I do believe that's him jumping up in the midfield right there to try to fill in. So yeah, I was super impressed with the way we played this past week. We definitely, I called it last week. We're gonna bounce back and call it and make called a 2-1 win, and that's exactly what happened. We bounced back. We had Brucey come in and show that Hurst is not just our only goal scorer. Like, he definitely can prove his point too.
No, you're absolutely right on that. Daniel Bruce, obviously, we saw him play in this 9 role last year. We saw him be very successful in this last year. And it is a bit surprising, to see it kind of come back, given that, you think Hurst is healthy at this point. We haven't heard of any injury concerns. Now, to be fair, the club has not given us match notes with injury notes in it. And we know that there are guys that are hurt, that are out, but we're not hearing anything. I even reached out to the club again on Saturday to find out if there was an injury report, and they said no. And I didn't get a response. But then on the broadcast, they did state that there were no injuries reported. Jacob, when you look at how the club is handling this, do you think that there's a reason that they're not saying anything about the injuries, that even the ones that we're aware of at this point? And how do you think that the roster makeup is being shifted around these unreported injuries?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I mentioned to you guys in the chat that it seemed like me putting them out on social media might have had a say in why we stopped getting them in the match notes. It also could just be Quill wanting to change things up and not be as forthright, because there's nothing in USL rules that say they have to disclose injuries necessarily. So it's definitely in their best interest to not let us know what's going on. Obviously, they said that there weren't any, but I have to believe that, well, we know Ryden is still out. We know Nava's done for the year. We know, well, it might be safe to assume that Dunladi is out again after he tweaked it in the Open Cup match against the Lubbock Matadors. We haven't seen him anywhere since. So my guess is there's some injuries out there still. It's not just everything's hunky-dory like they might have said. But honestly, I think more of the lineup change was a result of just like, hey, let's kind of switch some things up and see what we can produce that way. And I think it worked. I mean, we see Bruuuuuuce, we see Mohammed, we see Hosu. Trying to think of who else was new there. I think that might have been it. As far as the everyday starters, we see those three come in, and all three of them, I think. I mean, Bruuuuuuce with the brace, Mohammed with an assist. I'm pretty sure Landry or Hosu got the other assist, if I'm not mistaken. And so we see all three of those new guys come in and contribute. I think Hosu was an awesome addition, kind of being that defensive stopper in front of the back line to put out fires before the back line had to get into trouble. And he did that very well throughout the whole night, I think. And then guys like Maples and Herbert held their own. Akale was Akale on the, I know he didn't finish the PK, but the Meg and move to get around, to get into the box, to get pushed from behind and draw the PK was incredible. Harris looked dangerous again, and Speedy coming up that right side. The subs come in. You get Hurst, Reyes, Hernandez, and Dubois coming in. Dubois gets his first USL Championship appearance after we saw him play 90 against Lubbock a couple weeks ago. It keeps going to show how deep this team is, and more of the energy and stuff that I think kind of was brought on. I think it's more just not going out to the East Coast. We've seen them play multiple times here, not in the Eastern time zone, and all of those times they've looked like the much better team, whether that was against Phoenix or the two home matches, now against Vegas. So we've had 4 trips to the East Coast and then 4 over here, and those 4 over here, we've looked the better team pretty handily in all of those. And so I think that played just as big a part as some of the lineup changes and roster moves that were made.
And Clint Gray said on his Facebook actually that of the 2 losses we have, those were on the second leg of a back-to-back trip to the East Coast. So, I mean, we're in a really good spot. If those are our 2 losses, is our cross-country trips on the back-to-back part of it, I mean, you can't really complain about that. I mean, yeah, granted they were handily losses. We got handed to for sure, but I mean, it's to be expected. You can't drive, well, in my case, you can't drive to Albuquerque, come back, then drive back the next day and expect to be fully rested.
I mean, that is fair, but I do think there is we talked about last week, I do think there is a valid concern about how the travel arrangements are made. You know, would it have served the club better to just stay on the East Coast instead of going back and forth? Potentially. And, you know, Clint does have a point there as well. You know, it is, you know, the back end of, you know, consecutive road matches, you know, on the East Coast, both times, and to be fair, both times they were dealing with illness, you know, some significant illnesses throughout the squad. So I think there are some valid reasons as to why things were not at their best during those 2 weeks. But at this level, you still have to be able to go out and compete. And, you know, I guess anyone outside of the Eastern time zone, for the most part, we've done pretty well so far. But I do have to ask, Jacob, here once again, you know, we jump out to a lead and we fail to hold the opposing team scoreless. You know, we have 2 clean sheets through 8 matches so far. Now I know we're on a very good run at the moment. We're sitting second. Is the lack of clean sheets an issue?
To me, it's not the lack of clean sheets that I find semi-concerning. Quill has stated multiple times that he wants us to get our money's worth when we go to these matches, and definitely seems like a 3-2 match is more his style compared to a 1-0 match. Even though we have won some 1-0 matches, or we have won at least in a 1-0 match, but to me, it's the pressure of having to hold on for dear life at the end of every match. So Josh mentions it earlier. It would have been 3-1 had Akale been able to put a PK away. He wasn't able to do it, and that would have given us quite a bit of breathing room to where we could have tried to see this match out with a little less stress. So to me, we need to see a little bit more control, maybe get a 2 or 3 goal lead, and then be able to hold on to it, whether that's a clean sheet or it's 4-1 or 4-2 or 3-1 or whatever it is. I don't really care. I would just like a win that doesn't make us have PTSD of the last 5 seasons, where we consistently give up late tying goals, which to this team's credit, we have not done aside from the Rhode Island match. We haven't given up those late goals that led to a tie or a loss, aside from Rhode Island, like I said, and then El Paso to an extent, but we had enough time to come back against El Paso and finish them off. So the mentality seems to be there, which I love. The goal scoring has come alive. I mean, I think we've been shut out twice in those nasty East Coast games, but other than that, we've scored at least 2 goals in all but the first 2 matches of the season. And so the offense is looking really solid. We just got to get a couple more goals here and there, be able to finish a little bit more clinically, and come away with easy 3 points instead of these white knuckling, oh my God, no, okay, we're good type of wins.
Yeah, and I will say to that point, Earl, in the past, this is a club that has not done well holding leads, and we've still seen moments here this year where we do seem nervous, when we do get these leads and it gets late in matches. Do you feel like it's gotten better this season than it has in the past, or do you feel like we're still kind of like on the precipice of every single one of these matches could go either way?
Sorry. I mean, soccer's a weird sport. It can go either which way. I mean, we just saw PSG a while ago get eliminated
by Dortmund. Thank you very much.
I mean, soccer is so unpredictable, and we said it off air before we hopped on, because I was kind of bragging about my scoreline prediction, and I think this is the first time all year, going into late last season, that one of us is correct. I mean, we were typically wrong. But with this team, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the one goal wins. I'm not worried about the lack of clean sheets and the late leads that we're holding. I mean, this team has proven on more than one occasion this season that it's not the same team as last year. It's not the same team as the year before that. I mean, we've been down twice late in the match, and we come back and we win. I'll take El Paso, for example. We're down in the 87th minute, and we still came back to win 3-2. So the one goal wins. A great coach of mine that I had in high school, great football coach of mine actually, once said, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 100. A win's a win. Take it. So that's where I'm at. I mean, we're used to seeing late draws, late losses, anything like that. So to be on the positive end of it is nice because we don't have to stress about it. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, I know you guys are gonna say that we do have to monitor our goal differential, nonsense, but I mean, like I said, a win's a win. It gives us 3 points, and I'd much rather be winning by 1 and sitting second than losing by 3 or 4 or 1 to the worst team in the league if you're El Paso. Or maybe it was 2.
It was 2-0 Colorado.
Yeah.
It was 2. I was wrong. So that's just my thing. I would much rather take a 1-0 win or 2-1 win or anything by 1 than to be sitting where El Paso's at right now.
I don't want to come off as not happy. Don't get me wrong. We have won our 5th match already this season. We've played 8 matches. Last year it took us 15 matches to win our 5th match. And so we're light years ahead of where we have been in the past. We're sitting in second, like you mentioned. We've got a match in hand on Sacramento, who's sitting in first, and only 2 points ahead of us, I believe. We have a match in hand on everybody that's behind us except for Tulsa, who can't catch us with their 2 matches in hand. Sorry, they're 3 points ahead of us. It's 19 points for Sacramento, 16 for us. The thing that I'm slightly concerned about is, well, one, it goes both ways, right? So I'm slightly concerned because goal differential, I do think, kind of tells a little bit truer meaning of how good you are in the long run. That's not to say that teams don't, there's not like anomalies to that. There are plenty of times that a team will go through the whole season and perform point total wise up here while their goal differential remains kind of questionable. But in the grand scheme of things, in the larger picture, I think after 8 matches, you have a higher goal differential than what we have. At the end of the year, you're more than likely going to rise to the top of the standings and be better than some of the teams that goal differential is a little questionable.
Case in point, that questionable goal differential, Everton.
Sure. But what we have seen in the past, especially in USL, it doesn't, like, being the best team throughout the regular season doesn't guarantee you a cup in the playoffs almost ever. It puts you in decent position to get there, but I mean, Orange County in 2021 was an underdog to Tampa Bay. Phoenix was a 6th seed last year going into the playoffs. My mind's blanking on the 2 years in between that, but our first year in 2019, Real Monarchs wins, and they were definitely not the best team that year. So it doesn't necessarily matter where you are come playoff time, as long as you're in there and you have a solid squad and you can get hot and you can grind out 1-0 wins in the postseason and move on. So it doesn't necessarily worry me. It's just, I look at the standings and I say, wow, that's awesome that we're sitting in second, but why is there a -2 in the goal differential column? And it's because we have seven goals against us in the losses, and every other match that we've won by 1. So it's just something to monitor. I think the mentality of this team, we've proven that the mentality of this team is definitely tougher than years past for whatever reason, and that they're going to keep fighting. And even in this last match, right, we give up that goal right before halftime, and then we start the second half, and throughout the whole second half, very rarely were we like pinned in for like long periods of time where we were threatening to give up that tying goal. And we had several chances, including the PK. Akale had another shot from inside the 18 that the Vegas keeper made a hell of a stop on. A few other half chances here and there. So we kept pushing for that third goal instead of just trying to sit back for a whole half. And those reasons, just that, if you take just that alone, if we give up a goal there, I'm still happy because we were pushing for a third, as opposed to in years past where it seems like we're just going to cling so tightly to that 1-goal lead and let all the pressure, just welcome all the pressure onto us. And then when we give up a goal, we couldn't turn it back on to try to go get a winner. And so definitely better this year. would like to see the goal differential kind of bump up, and I think it will. I think it's coming. I thought it was going to be there when we went up 2-0 on Vegas. It felt like it was turning around, but then Vegas gets kind of a cheap one in there towards the end of the first half, and that kind of changed the game a little bit. I think if we don't give up that goal, we go in at the half 2-0, then it's a different second half that we come out with. But at the end of the day, 16 points through 8 matches, averaging 2 points per match, 5 wins, like I said, through the first 8 matches when it took us 15 last year. And then it just seems a little bit sweeter because if you scroll all the way down, keep scrolling, just a little bit farther, right there. El Paso, 0 wins on the year through 9 matches. Incredible. It's just
Hashtag
been...
Clarehout out.
No, keep him. I want him to keep losing.
I mean, what is going? Like, I know the El Paso community is not happy right now.
Right. So seriously, Loco had a tweet right after the match, and said that Armando Moreno missed several sitters, and I couldn't help but kind of smirk at that, and I replied and said, "Yeah, welcome to the Armando Moreno experience. He can be special, and then he can be very frustrating at times. And so it's one of the reasons why I was upset that he left and went down there. But at the same time, skill-wise, I think that's why Santi hurt more for me still. Santi was so good for us, and Moreno was so up and down. I didn't feel like we were losing as much when we lost Moreno as opposed to Santi. And so it's awesome. It's just great to watch. I freaking loved it.
Almost a third of the season with 2 points is over. Yeah, that's a point here that I made today. We're a quarter of the way through the season already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like we started. It felt like we just started yesterday. This has gone by really fast, and it's. I dare say this is the best start we've had to open a season.
It 100% is. There's no question about it. Our previous best was year 1 when we were undefeated through, I think, 9 matches, but we had 4 draws or 5 draws or 7 draws. I don't know. It was a lot of freaking draws.
Yeah. So, I think we started the season with 5 draws.
Yeah.
And then we had a Wednesday night match, and then we got our first win.
Something like that. We were undefeated for a while, but not a lot of wins in there. And so it feels really good to be winning matches as opposed to drawing them. Sacramento could very easily be way ahead of us, but they've got 4 ties in there that are just kind of strange. They drew last weekend against Phoenix. They drew against Tulsa. They drew against Orange County. And I want to say Tampa Bay, but I don't remember for sure. And so I love not having those annoying ties. India, I knew it was a Eastern Conference team.
All the draws that Sacramento had, that speaks volumes to what the league is today. I mean, when you're looking at the top 4, top 5 on the West, you're separated by maybe 5, I think 5 points total.
6 points separate Sacramento in first and San Antonio in 5th.
Yeah, so I mean, you're a matter of going on a 2-game run and being right back in it on top. I mean, that just speaks to what the league has, the talent-wise, the league has, unless you're El Paso, where you try to get the most talented person and shit the bed.
I think El Paso might think that it's golf and the lowest point total wins. Not sure there.
Does the city of El Paso even have a golf course? So how do they?
I'm sure.
Is?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
Okay.
It's probably dirt, but I'm sure they have something.
It's entirely possible. Quickly, man of the match against Las Vegas.
Oh man,
that's not even a question.
You're gonna somebody's gonna say Bruuuuuuce. I'll let somebody else have Bruuuuuuce. I will take a small candidate. No, it's okay. Keep Brucey. Brucey scores.
No,
two
I'm
goals.
not. I'm not.
He's got a freaking banger.
I'm changing it.
Okay, who do you
Marlena's
got?
pick would be Brucey because that's her guy.
Okay,
My pick
who's
is
yours?
Abdi.
Okay. Seth, you have one? That's different.
I like the way Akali played in this one. Brucey's the obvious pick, but you watch how Akali played, you watch the runs that he makes, you watch some of the passes he's making. Yeah, I think this is probably his best game for us.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Week 1, no, this one. All good shouts. I think the whole team played pretty good. I'm gonna give the defense a little love, but not go to the back line.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go to my boy who I thought was gonna be huge for us. He finally gets a start. Hosu comes in, locks down that pivot right in front of the back line, puts out all these fires, gets a shot on goal that was a shot that was a freaking missile. He has a freaking cannon on his leg, and I think he definitely earned himself some more playing time with that performance.
Mhm.
And because of that, he gets the assist on the second Brucey goal. He looks promising in both defense and attack. He's definitely just able to be all over the place. He's a huge physical presence. We noticed it I think me and Earl noticed it at the black and yellow scrimmage. I mean, he's, as far as like you see strikers that are big, and then you see center backs that are big. You don't see a whole lot of 6'3" muscular, beefy guys in the middle of the pitch, and he is that. And we saw his physicality, but also his speed and technical ability with the ball. He reminds me of Radio Vuka a little bit in his technical ability and his style. Just plays that at a different position instead of playing it at a right or left back. He's playing it from a more central position, and I freaking loved how he performed. So I'm gonna say he's my man of the match. Obviously, Brucey's probably the man of the match, but Brucey gets a ton of love all the time. So I'm gonna shout out Landry Hosu and give him some props there.
Yep. All great shouts. And again, just a great performance all around by United Saturday night at Las Vegas Lights. Then the newly owned Las Vegas Lights. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I did not see any shenanigans at halftime unless I just missed it.
No, they definitely seem to have their shit somewhat together.
Well, there you go. It's good to see. You definitely don't want to be the Atlanta Braves of the early 70s and 80s. Turner owned Braves, where they had all sorts of nonsense and the same sorts of things that we've seen Las Vegas do in the past. So good to see them move on from prior ownership, and now that Joey Bats is in control, maybe we'll see a bit more professionalism out of that club as the season progresses. But looking ahead, New Mexico United has a very busy week ahead. We've got 2 matches to talk about tonight, and we've got just a little time to do it. We've got RSL tomorrow night in the U.S. Open Cup out at the Lab. The first time New Mexico United has ever hosted and made an MLS club at the Lab. I mean, this is exciting. This is one that we've been looking forward to. It's been circled on our calendar for a couple of weeks. It'll be really interesting to see the turnout tomorrow night. Wednesday night, school is just about done. Maybe some parents, decide to keep the kids out a little bit later. But no matter what happens, this is a match and an opportunity for New Mexico United to really take center stage and once again show what USL Championship clubs can do. Jacob, when you look at this, I mean, number one, and we kind of talked about a couple weeks ago about the importance of this match. But when you look at tomorrow night and how United is playing right now, how does RSL try to adapt to our pitch? And do you think that we actually have home field advantage here?
No, we do. I think because of the fans, the pitch itself. I'm not going to come in and be like, oh no, they're going to have to adjust to playing on the smaller pitch. Blah blah blah. I think their style of soccer will translate. What I'm really interested in seeing is how seriously they take this. I'm trying to currently, I've been watching the Houston-Detroit match, which is moments away from going to PKs.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize a few of the names from the Houston match, or from this Houston side, as far as just what the announcers are saying, like who has the ball at this time and blah 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 blah. Carrasquillo being my favorite of the bunch because his name is fun to say. But I'm just not sure how. I'm trying to find their starting lineup so that I can see how seriously they really took it. And unfortunately, with U.S. Open Cup, nothing is easy. So I'm really curious to see if, like, do we see Chicho in there? Do we see Diego Luna in there? I think Diego Luna might be a shoe-in. I think we might be almost guaranteed to see him in there, but I'm just not sure. So that, to me, is going to be more indicative of how this match goes than them having to adapt to playing on a baseball field.
So as you just talked about, Dynamo and Detroit City FC, they are currently heading into PKs.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be interesting to see. Are we in for a cup set tonight? I mean, earlier this evening, Atlanta United defeated Charlotte Independence. And then in the other match, FC Tulsa beat Pittsburgh. There are a couple other matches going on currently. FC Dallas is taking on Memphis 901. And then just kicked off a little while ago, probably at halftime or just about halftime, San Jose Earthquakes and the Oakland Roots. And then Orange County and Loudoun.
FC Dallas Memphis match is already over, isn't it?
No,
it might be.
It shouldn't be.
It's pretty close. I think it started 30 minutes after Dynamo did.
Oh, I guess it is. It must have just barely hit it. FC Dallas 1, Memphis 0. Loudoun is up on Orange County 1-0. San Jose and Oakland tied at 0 in the 40th minute. Sac Republic and Monterey Bay are 9 minutes in and also 0-0.
All right, so I found Dynamo's starting lineup: Andrew Tarbell, Mikhail, Ethan Bartlow, Daniel Steris, Griffin Dorsey, Hector Herrera, Brad Smith, Jan Gregus, Gabriel Segal, Sebastian Kowalczyk, and Latif Blessing.
So all in all, that's a pretty stout lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have Ache in there, Latif Blessing. It's definitely probably not their A+ lineup, but it's definitely not like their academy kids. It's not all academy kids anyway. So if we expect something similar where we see a couple of the big names, but maybe not everybody, then it's going to be a good one. I think we've got the talent and we want it bad enough to really push for it. And if they don't come in taking it very seriously, then we might even stomp them if that's the case. But
yeah, I was looking at this up. This is pretty close to a starting lineup for Dynamo. But it'll be interesting to see what, like you said, what RSL does, because historically MLS clubs have not taken this very seriously, especially in their first matchups against USL clubs, and we've seen it go against them in the past. But with the new format, Oral, do you think this is something at a point where they have to take it more seriously, or do you think they still feel like they can come in with that B team and potentially walk over the USL?
No, I think they have to take it serious, especially coming in so late. I mean, essentially, you win tonight, or you win tomorrow, and you're in quarterfinals, right?
Round of 16, and then
Round of
quarterfinals.
16. And then quarterfinals. So yeah, I mean, you have to take these matches serious, especially if you're playing a stout team. So, for example, Seattle. That's my match that I'm most looking forward to. Only because Seattle being who they are and Louisville being who they are, that's bound to be a slobber knocker. Yeah, I can't wait for that match. I think Real Salt Lake brings their A team, and unfortunately, I think we see the kid who saw a puppy die in the road, and I hope to God that they boo the shit out of him.
So the puppy died on the road now.
Yeah, it's breaking news.
Okay. I'm glad we got that clarified, Earl. And in the grand scheme of things, it's learning that the puppy dog died on the road is, It's crucial information. But no, I agree. I do think they take this more seriously than they have in the past. Obviously you've got a trip to the round of 16 on the books if you win this. And given how few MLS clubs are in the tournament, you've got to feel like not just that they're the underdogs, but the league itself is going to be fighting for those final positions, fighting for those final spots. Detroit and Houston are tied 1-1 on PKs currently. And to the points over in the chat, I do think we see Diego Luna. I do. I don't think RSL comes in with a full A squad, but I do think we see a vast majority of them, or at least some of them on the bench. But yeah, I think Diego Luna's a shoe-in. I think that if he does come down, he's going to get an earful from whatever United supporters are there. And this is the match that I think is still winnable for us as long as we come in and and put forth the effort that we've seen in the home matches so far this season. I think this is winnable. I mean, am I wrong? Am I misreading how things are looking right now, or do you think this is one where we come out, like we did against Minnesota back in 2019, and look okay the first few minutes and then get overrun?
No, it's we have a chance. We clearly have a chance. I don't think they rotate. I think they rotate pretty heavily. I think it'll be rotation. Wouldn't be surprised if Chicho's on the bench. Maybe he comes in if they're needing it. But we definitely have a shot for sure. I hope somebody mentioned it. Let's see, where's it at? Josh, our buddy Josh over in the comments says he hopes for a good turnout as well. I think that's going to be the big thing. If we can get 9, 10, 11,000 of us in there being loud and rowdy and can kind of shake that place up and let our RSL know, like, hey, we mean business, then I think we can really push for that win for sure. Christina, we would play the winner of Colorado Springs, and they play NYCFC 2. Mm-hmm. They play them tomorrow, so we would travel to the winner of that match. San Jose is playing Oakland tonight.
There we go. Yeah, in an ideal world, I think we would, from a travel perspective, we would want Colorado Springs to win that match. I think that's one that I'm definitely going to have my eye on tomorrow outside of ours. I did watch the Atlanta United match earlier, for obvious reasons, but
they played Charlotte, right?
Yeah, Charlotte. Yeah, 3-0 over Charlotte earlier. So, but yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye on the Colorado Springs in my CFC 2 match.
Sorry.
You're like 3 seconds ahead.
No.
Yeah, sorry. Don't spoil it, you ass face.
You don't even know what I'm talking about, Earl.
Yeah. That's rough after the touch that
what'd you say?
DC.
What'd you say, Jacob?
I said, you don't even know what I'm talking about, Earl.
Yeah. Actually, I do, you ass.
It's just a blank screen, but
yeah, honestly, it's white out. Yeah, no, Christine, to that point, I mean, the farthest east we have to go after this, I believe, is Tulsa. Somewhere in that neighborhood, but yeah, the rest of the East Coast teams come to play us this year. So, all right, score predictions for tomorrow night.
Oh,
yeah.
2-2. We win it in PKs.
Okay, Earl.
I say 2-1. We win it handily.
2-1 is not handily. We're gonna handily.
No, we
won in extra time.
No, it's going to be a 1-1 draw going into extra time. Dear God. 1-1 draw going into extra time, and then we score right off the bat and then just hold them down for the rest of the extra time period.
Interesting. Okay, there we go. So for me, I think home field advantage is this thing here. I think we're comfortable at home. I think we have, the faithful behind the black and yellow. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2-0. I'm going to say 2-0. Yeah. I do think there is some rotation in the RSL squad. I think that's where we have a very real shot of picking up that win and taking advantage of the pitch size and our own home field and understanding how to play on it, that a lot of clubs that come here for their first time don't really know how to play. So
saved it. Oh shit! Sorry,
Jacob. Oh, it should have been 2 saves.
It should have.
It should have been 2 saves. Wow.
One question that I have for you guys.
Mhm.
We've talked about RSL and their squad rotation. What does our squad look like? We come out like full go, right? Full send.
Oh yeah, no, we have to. We absolutely have to. I don't think there's any chance of us coming out with anything less than our top squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that's why? Do you think that's why Hurst got the
probably
the bench treatment against Vegas?
Probably, and that's probably. I mean, and I know we've kind of talked internally about giving it away, Jacob.
Sorry, I didn't say anything that time.
No, you reacted.
I know. I'm trying not to. It's hard.
We've talked internally about potential injury to Sergio Rivas and some other things, and so maybe that's why we didn't see him even on the bench on Saturday. That's why we didn't see some of these other guys. Maybe after Dunladi got hurt against Tampa, or sorry, against Lubbock, hold those guys out, and so you have them ready to go. I don't think you see any of the academy kids on the bench tomorrow. Saturday maybe, but I don't think you see them on the bench.
It depends on health, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if Dubois is out there. On the bench, of course. But yeah, everything else that you said, I think is pretty much spot on. I'm worried about Dunladi, guys. Bruce come out, have a 2-goal effort in his first start. He's basically the de facto backup 9. Dunladi's where are we going to put him? Like, and I had this conversation with Itamar, and I've had it with some other friends of mine as well as you guys. Like, when everybody's healthy, who's not in the 18? It's an insane question mark there. And so, but for this one, I think it's full go, barring health. I think as long as everybody that we think is healthy, I think they start. I think it's Talon and Herbert. I think it's Astorga and maybe Muhammad, since he played well, or maybe he was a rotation. I would prefer it to be Muhammad over Gloucester. That's just me. I don't think Gloucester's performed very well, so I think you got to give it to Muhammad there. And so it's very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see what that lineup is tomorrow. I can't wait. I'll be there. Seth, I believe you're going to be there.
I'll be there.
It's going to be a good time. And no matter what happens, I think it's going to be an experience for sure.
That it will. And given that we're all predicting United going the full send on the team sheet tomorrow night, how do you think that plays into Saturday on Meow Wolf night when the Oakland Roots come to town? I mean, obviously the kits have been revealed, so we'll get our kit thoughts here in just a second. But with us going, like I said, we're predicting a full send on the team sheet tomorrow. How does that factor into Saturday? Do we see more rotation on Saturday? Do we see that rotation on Saturday, and kind of ease up against the Roots at home just slightly? Give some guys 60 minutes instead of 90, heading into the next week. Or do you think this is one of those weeks where Quill just said suck it up, and you're going to give us what you can give us?
We don't play again until the 25th after the Oakland match. So it's definitely, hey, you know what? Give these 2 matches everything that you can. They don't want to disappoint on Meow Wolf night. Meow Wolf night's been one of the more productive nights as far as like performance on the field, matching, the festivities around it. And so I think it's going to be more of a, hey, you're playing 90 one of these 2 games, and you're probably playing like 75 the other games. And that's just how it's going to be to some of our core players like Marco and Maples and somebody like that. So it's, to me, like Justin just said over in the chat, full send, both matches. Let's go. Let's get 2 W's out of these 2 matches. And then we've got 2 weeks off to rest before San Antonio comes for Military Appreciation Night. And so, that's what I'm thinking. And also it goes back to our depth, right? Like even even if we switch out a couple players, our level doesn't drop nearly as much as it did. Like, go back to the quarterfinal run in 2019. Like, we pushed for that, but then we were starting players in the league after that squad rotation would happen that really had no business starting in the league. No offense to them. It's just the talent level for us is way higher. I think the talent level for USL in general is way higher, but it's definitely it's definitely that level that you don't see, or you don't see that drop off, that level of play drop that much when we do rotate a few players out. So no matter what, we're going to be pushing hard for 2 wins and 3 points on Saturday and a date in the round of 16 of the U.S. Open Cup on Wednesday. So
I have to ask, which kit do you think the team is wearing? Is it of the 2 new kits? Which one are they wearing on Saturday? Is it the darker one or is it the lighter one?
Both.
Are they going to switch them out at halftime again?
No, the keeper will wear the green one.
Okay.
And then the black one will be for the field players.
Okay. All right. So I got thoughts on the kits. Earl, you did not seem terribly enthused about this one.
So
hold on. I'm going to let you finish in a minute. But name a kit that has been debuted since we've started this podcast that Earl has been like, oh, that's awesome. Because I can't think of one that was like a home run for Earl right off the bat.
Since we started the podcast, none of them. But Earl is all in on the Crane Shares kit.
Which I don't own, which is funny. No, sorry. I like this kit. I really do. I don't know what I don't like about it. That's the thing. There's something that I don't like about it that I'm like, I'm not.
It's drastically
different. But I like it. And that might be what it is. Exactly. Not even the Pipe Dreams game. It looks more like the Windows 98 screensaver. Which I was going to download.
My son really likes it because he says that it looks like monkey noodles. For those of you that don't know what monkey noodles are, it's basically just a long, thick stretch. And so he liked it.
I love these kits. I think these kits look phenomenal.
Yeah, I like
blows my mind, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like the kit. I think the part that turned me off to it is the comment that I saw on Facebook.
Letting other people dictate your thoughts. Good job, Earl. Good job.
Well, no, it's the club that put it, so I think that's why we're here, right?
So we're through 10 rounds of this shootout with Detroit and Houston. Both have only missed one. Riveting. PK shootouts are incredible, just so you guys know.
Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted,
I like the crest in the middle. Program. I think that's really cool. It's different.
Yeah, it's totally different, and I get it. I like it, but I think the part that got me was there was a comment on Facebook from someone that said, "Hopefully, I can get there in time to get one," or something along that line. Well, the club said they're going to be limited to 2 per customer.
Houston just missed.
Keepers taking kicks. This is phenomenal.
Houston just missed. Oakland with a chance, or not Oakland, sorry. Detroit City with a chance to move on if they can finish this one.
If the keeper makes this.
Insane.
At this point, I think we're doing play-by-play on keeper PKs until we're on a commercial break.
1 second. Yeah, 1 second.
Commercial break.
Stepping them down.
I can't
Jacob,
watch
don't ruin it.
Pretty average run up.
Jacob, shut your mouth. I'm a couple seconds late.
There we go. Okay, finally.
I was waiting for Earl.
I know.
There we go, folks. Cup set. Oh man.
Detroit City FC moves on, beats the defending Open Cup champion Houston Dynamo in Houston, nonetheless,
Mm-hmm.
in the 11th round of PKs, with the keeper making it to move on. This is why the Open Cup is amazing, right? This
Yeah.
is
Still
this is what
fucking
makes
hate
it
it.
special.
Oh, this is phenomenal.
Anyways.
That's great.
Anyways, like I was saying, there was then a comment on Facebook.
Oh my gosh, yes, it was about not being able to get one. What do you want? What do you want?
So my thing is, say doesn't match.
What are you talking about, Earl?
Because the club said that there's limited to 2 per customer.
Okay.
Two-
If you walk
two
up there
kids
with
per
5
customer.
kids, you can buy 5 kits.
No, they're limiting it to 2
No,
order.
That's
what their Facebook post said.
Yes, they're limiting it to 2 per order. As in, if I walk up there, I can buy 2 kits. If me and my
Okay.
4 kids walk up there, I can buy 8 kits, 2 per customer. The kids are
So what
customers
if-
too.
Give your kid your credit card.
So exactly. So what if said kids don't show up to the match?
Then you
and Dad
go
goes
buy
alone?
2, and then you go back to the back of the line, and then you go buy 2. They're not going to be checking it that in depth, Earl. There's ways around this.
Okay. I don't think it's right. Still, whatever.
Anyway,
let's
I
move
do
on.
agree, I do agree with Earl to an extent. The fact that they are limited edition, fine, but I think the club does need to put out enough of them to where they're not only available at the stadium. I do think that that is a thing. I do think they need to be available online or at the team store, something, not just at the stadium.
They're at the team store on Friday night.
Yes, but you have to
And
RSVP.
and you have to RSVP and get there and all that. And
I can almost guarantee you that they don't sell all of them Saturday night.
yeah, so like this year,
Just
people
like-
need to be able to buy online.
Just like every
I'll do
other
it.
time they've done this.
Yeah.
They keep it to in-person sales until after the match. And then after the match is over, we will see it in the store and we will see it online until they sell out. Unless it's like even more limited than usual. But one, why is United going to do that? One of the main reasons why this Meow Wolf Night is even a thing is merch sales. It's where they make the majority of their money with this club is in merch sales. So they're going to have plenty. Yes, it is limited. They are trying to make it to where everybody can get their hands on some by limiting it to 2 per person at the stadium anyways. But at the end of the day, it's not like they're going to have, say there's 10,000 people that they're expecting at the match. They're not going to have 20,000 of these. There's going to be more. And so I don't know. I agree with Josh over here. Earl always with the unique takes.
That is
that's
very
what I'm here
true.
for.
Earl
And
does
so-
have unique takes.
Anyways, let's talk about Saturday.
Yep.
I thought we already were.
Yeah, that is very true. We already were. Oakland Roots come in. They are sitting 10th in the Western Conference on 8 points. They're coming in winless in 4 of 5. Their only win in their past 5 matches was a 3-2 win over El Paso in El Paso. But they're more recently are coming off of 2 losses to Detroit City FC, a loss to Colorado Switchbacks, and a draw with San Antonio FC. Looking at Oakland, I mean, what's looked good to you from them so far this year, and what do you think we need to watch for on Saturday? Jacob, let's start with you.
Man, to be honest, they're just the most blah team I can think of in the West. Maybe besides Memphis. Like they just don't move my needle whatsoever. I find their matches incredibly boring to watch. And so I just don't find myself watching them very often. Obviously, I would love to be, John Morrissey watching every minute of every USL Championship match every weekend. I got kids, I got a job, I got training. I just can't do it. So that being said, yes, they did fire their coach and bring in, I believe the assistant was named interim. They did sign Dom Dwyer. I imagine he'll make his first appearance. I don't think he's had an appearance yet. I imagine he'll be making it pretty soon, probably against us. But at the end of the day, they just don't do anything for me. I don't have any insight. They're just boring. I love everything that they do off the pitch, off the pitch, they are incredibly fun to follow. Their academy, the soul, the kits, everything that they do in Oakland community-wise is awesome. And then they get on the pitch and I just fall asleep. And it's not that they're not good. They seem to be always in the middle of the pack and always just kind of bleh.
So you talked about Dom Dwyer. We had the mention of him over in chat. He spent 2023 season without a club after last playing for Atlanta United, having 4 goals and 22 appearances for the Five Stripes. I mean, I think there's a very real chance we see Dom Dwyer, but I don't think that he gets, more than maybe 60, 70 minutes if he does play, because I don't know what sort of playing shape he's in. We haven't seen him. We don't know what he's doing after taking a year off. I do think this is a good opportunity for him to come in and get some minutes. That being said, though, he is a player who, when he was playing at his best, is someone who could absolutely be a difference maker for Oakland. And that's something that they're seriously lacking right now. And the Jacob, like you said, they're very boring. They're not fun to watch. And yeah, absolutely, that pitch is horrendous. I also thought the pitch Saturday night in Vegas was awful looking too. But Dom Dwyer is a player that, again, he is extremely talented. And Earl, I want to ask you, how do you think we match up against someone like Dwyer, who has that top tier experience, someone who comes in and can control that box?
I mean, it kind of just depends on what defense shows up. If we have the defense that was present this last match, then we will be fine. But if we get a relaxed, overconfident defense because, say, they beat Real Salt Lake, so they go in and they overlook Dom Dwyer or any Oakland Roots player, they're going to make him pay. I mean, a couple names that stick out to me on Oakland is Doniciano, obviously Dom Dwyer, but those are the two that stick out to me. Is if you slack off for any amount of time, they're going to make you pay. And that's just my thing. I don't know. I don't like this match, but yet I do at the same time, because I like where our defense lines up. I like how our midfield plays against theirs lined up on paper. And that's exactly true. I mean, if our defense can outshine Dom Dwyer, then I think we'll be fine. Overall, I think that we walk out of Meow Wolf Night. I'm going to give my prediction now. 3-1.
There you go. Jacob, when you look at Oakland, I mean, they're sitting right now with a -7 goal differential. What do you think is the bigger problem for them? Because you look at the talent at their back line, Babacar and Jai. They've got Niall Logue. They've got Rasmussen. They've got some guys who've been very good in the USL Championship. Is that the issue, or is it the play of their keeper?
No, I think their keeper, Paul Blanchet's been their keeper basically since they came into the league a few years ago. Mm-hmm. He's been solid, if not really good at time or throughout his time there. It's not that. I don't know what it is. They're just not. Hackshaw and Jai don't seem to be working together. It's just something's off there. Their attack is can be pretty scary. Johnny Rodriguez is one of the more exciting players to watch. He's like the one bright spot for that club that I like and enjoy watching. Other than that, it's just kind of a who's who of middle of the road USL players, in my opinion. And so it's, as far as the goal differential is concerned, Rodriguez can't do it all. I think that's why they brought Dom Dwyer in, hoping to give him a spark and see what he can provide. The defense needs to tighten it up, but I mean, looking at the standings, who the hell would have thought that the first coach fired wasn't going to be Clairhout in El Paso? But you don't make that change if things are going great. And so even if they're not bottom of the table bad, they're still not living up to expectations. And that's why you make that change. And so we'll see if this coaching change eventually leads to something a little bit better. But at the end of the day, it's just meh. This is grade A coverage here. This is what you guys are paying for. I'm sorry, you're not paying for anything. This is what you guys come here for. It's me saying that our opponent is bleh. That's about as solid as it gets right there.
That's some real John Morrissey level of
I mean, 100%
stuff right there.
I have numbers to back that up too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bleh.
There you go. All right, Earl's already given us a prediction. Jacob, let's get your score prediction for Saturday.
Yeah, I think 3-0.
3-0. Okay.
I think this is finally the one where we can get up and then not give up a cheap one. I think it's going to be 2-0 going into like the 70th minute, and then instead of giving one up, we are able to find some space because they're stretched, pushed, trying to score, and we can find that third one and put it away and then coast the last 15, 20 minutes to a nice 3-0 win.
Yeah, obviously, being at home, Meow Wolf Night, a night that's always been good for New Mexico United. We actually only got our first Meow Wolf Night win last season. However, Meow Wolf Night has been very good for us in the past. I do think being at home, you're going to see a lot of fan support on Saturday. The guys are going to be, plenty energized by that. 2-0 us. I just don't see Oakland being a threat given their current state. I don't know that Dom Dwyer is going to be that instrumental this early in his time with Oakland. I'd give him a couple weeks. I think you could see him really be dangerous for them. But yeah, I think that's
we might not even see him. He might not even play.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true indeed. Like I said, I think he's, I think at most, we see 60 minutes, if that. But that might be a stretch given how new he is. But all right. There you have it, folks. That's all of our predictions for both matches this week. Before he gets out of here, I do have one final question. There are now 2 teams undefeated in the USL Championship, Sacramento and Charleston Battery. Do either of them fall this weekend? You're muted.
Give me just a second. I need to see who they're playing.
No, we make wild off-the-cuff predictions here. We don't research anything. What are you talking about?
Well, Charleston's definitely not going to lose because they are not playing this weekend at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Sacramento does play Rhode Island in Rhode Island. I'm gonna shout out our friends over at Rhode Island. I'm gonna say they get a W. They help us out. They beat Sacramento, and we actually move into a tie for first place.
There you go. Earl, the Sacramento lose this weekend.
Hold on. Give me a couple seconds.
Oh, that's scary.
All right. Well, while Earl is pulling up his, I'm assuming it's his, fancy algorithm over there. He's going to do some mathematical equations. 1 + 1 is 2. Maybe Charleston will be tired. I don't know.
Sorry, it closed out on me. Give me a couple seconds. Ow. What the shit was that? Kid trying to sleep.
Or we're trying to get you out of here so, your wife will let you stay up with us next week.
Charleston plays Birmingham Legion on Wednesday. That'll be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
My answer is no. Sacramento stays undefeated.
Okay, there you go.
Wait. Hold on. We just had to wait for 5 fucking minutes for you to look at an algorithm that was clearly going to say
it's still loading, by the way.
Okay, so we waited 5 minutes for that. Cool. I appreciate that. Good job, bro.
Jacob, get us out of here.
God bless. So tomorrow night at the lab, 7:00, New Mexico United take on MLS side RSL. USL, RSL. Acronyms are not my friend. Earl Math. Yes. # Earl Math.
Is anyone your friend?
You guys. Yes, I have lots of friends.
Okay.
They're right here. I had to. Okay. Guys, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at the Lab, New Mexico United takes on RSL in the round of 32 of the U.S. Open Cup. Go support the club in this endeavor. It is, yes, it's a Wednesday night. Some of you, Earl, may cry about it, but go be there, show out for the team. Me and Seth will be there. I'll be down at field level. If you see me, holler at me. Josh, that includes you. We've talked about it several times. I need you to holler at me if you see me down on the field. Suite 22. Okay. I will find Suite 22. Is that third floor? Second floor? Second floor is not a floor.
No.
So 118 for Justin. Cool. I will write this down and I will be sure to at least glance up to look at you guys. If you guys find me, be sure to shout me out. Probably at halftime would be the best time to wave me down. But I'll be there. I'm going to try to be there a little early. So if you guys get in the stadium early, Seth hides up in the press box like a professional or some shit. So he's not a man of the people. You won't see him. But if you see me, please say hi. I will also be there Saturday as well with my wife actually helping me out. So be sure to say hi to us as well. Then 2 matches, 2 nights at the Lab, all within a span of 4 days. It's going to be fun. MLS side. Oh.
Happy Mother's Day.
Man,
Okay.
whatever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yes, Sunday will be Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, including my mom and my wife. You just threw me way off there.
I did.
But thank you guys so much for coming. Christina, Josh, Justin, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys so much. If you listen to us, make sure to rate and review us on whatever podcast playing app that you do so choose. And by you do so choose, I definitely mean Spotify because Apple Podcast is shit. And sorry, we probably shouldn't be bad mouthing platforms that we're on, huh?
No.
Sorry. Saudi Arabia, please forgive me. Guys, for those still here, 1, thank you. 2, it is my sole mission during these things to make Seth lose it so that you guys see that he does have emotion.
And I did that today.
I feel like we have done a pretty good job of that today.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, is what I'm saying.
We were like 30 seconds in, we broke it.
Yeah, that was real bad. We broke everybody. If you tuned in late, be sure to rewind to the beginning. You won't want to miss it, trust me. So thank you guys. We'll see you all next Tuesday where we get to break down the Open Cup match, the Meow Wolf Night match. We'll see what the kits look like in person. You guys never got my thoughts on the kits. I'm going to reserve judgment until I see it in person. I think I like them, but I want to see them in person. That sounds like an Earl quote, and that's because it is. I'm pretty sure Earl has said that. Pretty sure he said that about the Sandia kits. But nonetheless, we love you guys, and we will be back next Tuesday. And until then, somos lindos.